Hi, this is Frank Prendergast for Daily Xtra with the outgoing artistic director of the TIFF Bell Lightbox, Noah Cowan. Noah, what's going on?
Well, we've been working on the building now for 5 years. We're really happy about where we are. I think that there's an amazing group of programmers here, terrific programs. We had pretty much a banner year in 2013 with the Big China Show and the Kronenberg Show. And an amazing opportunity came my way that was very hard to resist, and I can't actually talk about. But it will be revealed in the next couple of weeks, and it allows me to more directly intervene in film production and actually engage with the tech sector, the sort of Googles and Facebooks of the world, in a very different way. So it's kind of the next step of sort of dealing with film and contending with the future of cinema in many ways.
When are you leaving?
So my last day at TIFF is actually February 14th, which I guess is next Friday. Wow. And then I'm starting my new gig in early March, so it's all going to happen very quickly.
Right, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that kind of was by accident, but hey, we can make a thing of it.
Right. You were seen as a champion for queer films. Here in Canada with Xavier Dolan, Bruce LaBruce, John Grayson. Internationally, Greg Araki, Gus Van Sant. Is there a filmmaker or a movement that you kind of were interested in and you push and you saw it and you go, I'm so glad I was there to be part of like whatever it was that came to fruition? Was there a filmmaker, a movement?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that my career as a journalist really began around the time of the new queer cinema movement in the early 1990s, and I still have a lot of affection for those movies. You referenced the fact that I did a Greg Araki retrospective a couple of years ago, an old friend, but also a filmmaker for me who's a real touchstone about what interesting queer cinema can do and be about. And so it's funny, when I see a film like we're playing, like Stranger by the Lake, I can't help but see echoes of Greg Araki and the sort of the danger in queer life that he likes to highlight and spotlight and think through, the sort of vulnerability, especially of young gay people, but also a knowingness around their activities and sort of seeking of danger. And so when I see something like Stranger by the Lake, I just feel these echoes of the work that was happening back then, not only with Greg, but also with Todd Haynes and Tom Kalin, and so many other really interesting artists. I guess it all kind of stems from me being introduced to Derek Jarman very, very early in my sort of film-going life and my cinephile life, and I guess he was the first to kind of identify that and sort of give it historical context and kind of make you understand that you're part of a trajectory that likes danger a little bit sometimes. And I think that that's maybe what I continue to look for when I'm looking for interesting queer cinema.
What were maybe some highlights of this whole celebrity world that you've been in? I
mean, the funny thing about the celebrity world of TIFF is that you get very bored of it after a while. Yeah. I know that sounds very jaded, but movie stars aren't always the most interesting people in the world. And so meeting an actor is lovely, and they're very pretty often, and they have great dresses, the men and the women. But on the whole, it's not. We're really a bit more focused on wanting to talk to the actual creators, whether it's the sort of directors, the writers, the people who sort of form the sort of creative nexus, the sort of ideas that this cinema comes from. And sometimes that's actors. So for example, this Stranger by the Lake, which we showed in the festival last year, the director couldn't come, but the main actor, Pierre Deladonchamp, did. And he was lovely and very, very intellectually connected with the movie. And so in a case like that, it's great. And it's also easy on the eyes, which helps as well. But in general, it's been the people trying something new. It's people who are trying to do something daring, a little bit more inventive, people who've gone out on a limb a little bit. Over the years. So if you have an actor who makes opportunities for themselves, say in lower budget films, and goes back and forth.
Like James Franco, is that what you're thinking
of? Well,
James
James is amazing because he does everything, and he's fun to be around and is fascinating and great. And yeah, we've actually been able to develop a really nice relationship over the last few years. I feel like I always talk about him because I'm kind of obsessed with the confluence of film and visual arts, and that's kind of where he lives. And so it's like, oh, James is doing exactly what I would like him to do again. That's great. Like, he has this new project just announced with Isaac Julian, who's one of the best artists in the world. And like, he's done it again. Look at that. Isn't that great?
Now, Toronto has everything, obviously. It's got minus 30-degree weather. It's got Rob Ford. It has traffic jams. How could you leave?
I have to say, it was funny, as this process began with this amazing new opportunity, the weather just went from bad to worse here. And like literally they would call me every day. There was like an ice storm or a blizzard or it was minus 20. I was like, you really are getting your timing right.
And we've talked to you over the years, which we are very thankful for, because you've offered lots of insights.
It's been so fun. I mean, the interviews that we've been doing prior to the festival, where we can kind of loosen up, talk about some of the queer content that happens in the festival, is really an opportunity, I think, to sort of talk about this sort of these sort of trends that are occurring a little bit under the surface of the sort of the big flashbulb festival red carpets, but is so equally important for so many people in the city and the audiences here.
Great. So thank you for that. And one other thing that you've often done for us is given us little hints of things to come in the future without really announcing them. So I was wondering, is it going to be palm trees or subways?
Yeah, I don't know what I can tell you about that. But yeah, all I can say is that, and this would count for everything, it's going to be a little warmer than Toronto today.
Right. Well, that's anywhere. But truly, thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. It's been really fun working with you guys.
Okay. So thanks.
Take
Good luck.
Absolutely.
Okay.